Welcome back, Barry at where stories are always intact. Join the fun, let's all react. Barry, yes, that's a fact.
Mass immigration explained. This is going to be about mass immigration explained and how the United States is getting destroyed from within. Let's get right into it. I'll be linking the full video I'm reacting to in the description below if you guys want to go check it out. Let's get right into it and react to this baby.
Some people say that mass immigration into the United States can help reduce world poverty. Is that true? Well, no, it's not. And let me show you why. This gumball represents the 1 million legal immigrants that the United States has taken every year on average since 1990. Now, who in the world
1990
deserves our humanitarian compassion?
That's insane.
The World Bank has one measure of the desperately poor of the world. They make less than $2 a day. And how many people make less than $2 a day in the world? We'll start with Africa. In Africa alone, there are 650 million people who make less than $2 a day. 650 million. And in India, another 890 million people, desperately poor. China adds another 480 million people, making less than $2 a day. And unfortunately, the rest of Asia has a heartbreaking 810 million people who the World Bank says make less than $2 a day.
Man.
And finally, there's 105 million of Latin America's population that are desperately poor. All told, the World Bank says there are 3 billion people in the world.
This
3
is
billion
insane.
people who are desperately poor, making less than
And we're not
$2 a
just
day. That's
letting
3,000 gumballs.
We're not just letting people in from Mexico. These are
We take
people
a million
from
and
all over the
suggest
world coming over
we've
into the
somehow made a
United
humanitarian
States.
difference. Of course, we don't pull our immigrants from these desperately poor populations, do we? These people are too poor, too sick, too disconnected
I'm
to
sure
make it here as immigrants.
They
We
do
tend
come
to pull
here.
our immigrants
They
out
come
of
here
the
as
better off
immigrants.
poor.
They
of the world.
definitely do.
And
They go
Mexico
to Mexico.
tends to define the type of immigrant that we bring
I mean,
here.
people
because
from
the
China
plurality of
are
people
coming
come from
over
Mexico.
to the United States.
And Mexico is poor. How many people in the world live in countries that have average incomes lower than that of Mexico? And the World Bank tells us that that number is these 3 billion plus another 2.6 billion people. 5.6 billion people in the world
That's a lot of gumballs.
who live in countries with average incomes below that of Mexico.
So colorful.
That's 5,600 gumballs.
I think
So
it's
what is it
bad.
that the elites are telling us? They're telling us that when we take this 1 million immigrants,
And then eat it. Oh.
that we somehow or another are tackling world poverty. And we have to do it regardless of the effect on our unemployed, the working poor, the most vulnerable members of our society, regardless of the effect on our natural resources.
No.
Even
Oh
if
my
we went by the
God.
most radical
That is
proposals in
the-
Washington, which are to actually double our immigration to 2 million a year, which would totally overwhelm our physical, natural, and social infrastructures, we couldn't make a noticeable difference. And we may be really hurting the impoverished people of the world because the million that we do take are among the most energetic, often the better educated, certainly the most dissatisfied people that if they did not immigrate would be the agents for change to improve the lot of all the people in these countries. The true heroes in the global humanitarian field are the people in these countries who have the wherewithal to immigrate to another country, but instead stay in their countries, to apply their skills to help their fellow countrymen. Unfortunately, our immigration system tends to entice these very type of people to abandon their countrymen. The impossibility of making even a dent
This guy's got some good points.
is actually worse than it looks here.
This guy
because
has some really good points.
last year, when we took 1 million immigrants, these countries added, births over deaths, 80 million more people into the impoverished populations. And this year, Congress is bringing in 1 million legal immigrants.
Oh my God.
And this year, according to the United Nations, these countries are expected to add another 80 million people.
Oh my God.
And next year, you can be quite sure that Congress, unless stopped by the American voters, will bring in another 1 million immigrants. And these countries, unfortunately, will be adding
But it's gonna get worse. Oh man,
another 80 million people into these impoverished nations. We could take 5 million a year, but we'd never get ahead of what's happening in these countries. Not in this century. Don't you see? Immigration can never be an effective or significant way to deal with the suffering people of the world. They have to be helped where they live. 99.9% of them will never be able to immigrate to a rich country. There's no hope for that. They have to bloom where they're planted. The only place that 99.9% of these people can be helped is where they live.
But that
Let's help
cup
them there.
that he was putting in is already filled. It's already above the top. Oh man, and he does a good point. We should be helping in the other countries, helping them come up, but instead we're just letting them pour into the United States, and it's getting bad. It's getting so bad. Have you guys seen Los Angeles under the bridges? Oh my gosh, there is some crazy stuff going on in the world right now. If you guys cannot see, it's getting crazy. Be careful, be safe. They're letting a lot of bad people into the United States too, so just stay careful, be safe. This is today's story. We learned about worldwide immigration and how it's never going to help if we just let them in here. We have to help them in the other countries. So, yeah. Hope you guys learned something today. This has been Bear with a React. If it is React for Bears, then I react to all the